Hi, my name's Sharon Starick and I'm the presiding member for the South Australian Murray-Darling Basin Natural Resources Management Board. I'm also a farmer. My husband and I and 3 daughters farm on the Murray Plains within our region. The South Australian Murray-Darling Basin covers more than 5.6 million hectares and has a population of over 125,000 people. It is one of our state's most important regions. Not only is it very ecologically diverse and unique, it is also highly important in terms of its agricultural productivity. Greater than 80% of our land in the region is used for food, wine and fibre production. Tourism is also really important for our region. It contributes over $200 million and is mostly featured around the iconic River Murray. The Natural Resource Management Board is here to deliver benefits to our community, our region and our state. Having healthy soils, good quality water and healthy bush are critical to us producing premium food and wine and our tourism-based industries, which are heavily reliant on it. This is important for not only our current generation, but also our children and their children. In managing our natural resources, it is important to remember that we need to strive for balance. It's about having a healthy regional economy. It's also about meeting the needs of our community and also meeting the needs of our environment. The board believes in putting the community at the centre of our decision making. As part of this philosophy, the board undertook holding a deliberative panel. That involved randomly selecting people from our community to share the board's dilemma. How do we manage our natural resources now and into the future? We had 53 people from across our region take an interest and want to better understand the programs of the board and the types of issues that as a board we were dealing with. The board were really keen to hear from the deliberative panel their advice and their recommendations. The panel members, who were randomly selected, are reflective of our community throughout our region. They were so giving of their time, 3 days over 2 weekends. Let's hear from some of the deliberative panellists about their journey through the process and what they learned about the board's dilemma.
I'm Vince Critchley. I'm a 43-year-old dairy farmer and beef farmer. We farm at Wall Flat and we also have a farm between Camantua and Rockley. I've been involved in the Multiple Ecological Communities project and land care groups at Local Action Planning and the Eastern Hills Murray Plains Catchment Group. What interested me to be part of this panel was to actually make sure that farmers, especially dairy and beef farmers, views were represented. Sometimes in meetings like this, in committees such as these, the whole opinion and the whole agenda can be jacked sideways. And I was very pleased to be asked to be able to put my points across. And yeah, I've always been a big one that you can either make it happen or let it happen. And in this case, I wanted to make it happen rather than just let it happen. I've done a few of these other things because I've been involved in Catholic schools and bushfire aid, etc. in South Australia. I've done a lot of this sort of stuff, and what a deliberative panel meant was that the government actually and the NRM actually valued my opinion, and I was actually very pleased to be actually even offered it. And it was presented to me as an opportunity to put my views across. It's been a very positive experience. I'm pleasantly surprised how much NRM actually does, and I'm more than pleasantly surprised how much NRM have reacted. The general consensus in the room on the first day was that NRM was sort of going to box us in a corner, and on the Sunday when they came back, it was just totally different. NRM do understand our issues, NRM do have an idea where they're going, and yeah, I really enjoyed the whole process, as well as the networking opportunity in lunchtimes and stuff with people that I wouldn't normally meet. It's been interesting, informative, and yeah, it's been I feel very connected to the whole process. the size of the NRM operation, the number of things that NRM do, and the responsibilities they have. As a farmer, you take a very simplistic view sometimes of what NRM actually is, but it obviously does a hell of a lot more than what we think. Absolutely, and I felt that everything I've been said has been listened to, and I would say that the best thing of this whole process is any question we've had has been answered. Whether it's answered at the time or answered later on, but they've all been answered. And I've sat on dozens of committees and been involved in dozens of events, and I have never been answered to the same degree that we are now. Every question last weekend was answered in writing. It's a very tough process you're involved in, obviously, but you're not alone. Most of us do this in our business regularly. I'm sure you'll make the right decisions. The NRM needs to continue, and the resounding message from the last 3 days is that people want the NRM board. No ifs or buts.
I'm Rosemary Fairman and I live at Challis near Mannum, and I have a property at Challis and I have a water licence there, but we don't actually use it. Our property is used for dryland farming by a share farmer, and I work at River Glen Marina, so I manage the marina for both private and commercial hire houseboats. Working on the river, I see the river as a pretty important resource, and so I'm interested in inputting into the management of both the river and the land around it. I guess consider a list of questions. That's probably the basic thought that I had. It's been very interesting actually. I went away last week, and on my drive home I came up with all these questions and comments and things. So when I got home I sat there with a notepad and I was scribbling away and sent them off to you guys to share them with you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think from my point of view it's been really worthwhile just to consider those things, consider the information that was presented last week, and rack my brain for the ways that I can perhaps suggest some outcomes. I guess that it's been very educational for me to find out all the details of how NRM board is run, and I understand the enormity of the challenge of trying to make the budget work. It's probably that there's such a wide range of different ideas and opinions from all of the people on the panel, so it should provide a really wide range of feedback as well. A good cross-section, I suppose. Yes, I would. I did provide some email of comments and questions during the week to the board, and they were really quick to get back to me with some answers, so that was fantastic. Helped me to understand a bit better for today. And I've spoken to a couple of people who read that feedback, and they were very positive about that as well. So thank you for the response.
I'm Richard Challis from Renmark, and I'm a retiree. I had a career in air traffic control and railway control and airline management. I saw it advertised in the newspaper, and I realised that NRM were going to make a serious attempt to do a public consultation. I thought a good idea, and I thought I'll support that if I can, and sent my name in and was selected for the panel. It actually meant to me that they may not have had that many people apply, because I'm not a producer in the area, I'm just a resident in the area. But however, when I came along I realised I was actually part of a reasonably wide gamut of people from the area, so that was my first thought. My second thought corrected it. Experience has been, there's a very steep learning curve. I started off on the Saturday morning with very little idea what NRM did. I had a limited exposure to a local action planning group, and that was about it. So it was a steep learning curve, and fortunately board members and staff have been pretty helpful in pushing us up that curve. Well, the first thing I learned was that they're in a critical financial state in the short term, with the 2016-17 budget threatening to be seriously in deficit with no reserves to cover it. That was in fact the reason for calling the whole thing, was to try and get some guidance on how to handle that problem. Yes, I think I would. I have to say, it's not really for the faint-hearted. You've got to throw yourself into it. And if you throw yourself into it, people get quite passionate and arguments break out. But you learn from the arguments. And I learned quite a bit from going for a drink with some of the other participants after last Saturday's session. And sit and listen to people who know what they're talking about. You learn a lot. Yeah, to the board, so congratulations on having the courage to go ahead with this. This is not without risks. I'm not even sure that it's going to come up with a definitive decision. There's a real danger that the panel will establish what you already knew, and that is it's difficult to come to a decision. I'm hopeful that the panel will come up with something useful. I think there's some useful stuff has already come out of it, and I'm hoping that by the end of today, the board will have something to justify having gone ahead with this procedure.
My name's Gavin Smith. I'm from Mannum, and I am involved in doing land care work and revegetation work, that type of thing, over a number of years. Having been involved in doing land care work and monitoring, water monitoring also previously, I thought it was worth being involved to be able to get at a perspective from my point of view of the things I've been involved in that may assist in the discussions that we're having. I thought it was going to be about policy planning rather than what we have been discussing so far. That's still been interesting to be made aware of the situation for the NRM or the South Australian Murray-Darling Board, with people in my position not really knowing about these types of things and being able to add to the conversation, I suppose. It's a very complicated situation, I think, not knowing the exact financial details of what's happening, but have been given an outline of what is happening. It's probably, I think, the best we can do is to add to the conversation, like I said before, and maybe add some new ideas to how things can be handled in the future. A lot more informed, seem to be tapering off towards the final result of trying to give the board a idea of what our ideas are being accumulated and things, and it is still a difficult subject to get around, and the outcome hopefully is going to be a good one. I think the plight of water holders, or lease the irrigators that are paying levies there, and the situation they're in when it comes to allocations and the payment, whether they're having their allocation or using their allocation, whether they are or not, and the hardship that has been or is in place there for the people on the land, especially that are paying two lots of levies plus all the other fees that they do pay, and if hard times are hard, well, they still have to pay those fees, and it's a difficult question that probably people not in primary production don't realise about, and I think for myself, I am quite happy to actually pay an increase in the levy that we pay, which is just minimal compared to some of the fees that other people are paying, to try and keep things as they are. In this form or another, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be. I don't envy their job to try and work out how to come about resolving the situations that they have to when it's a big change in funding, and I would hope that they are given a time to give thought to all the possibilities of doing different things there, and maybe also communicating with the general public a bit more about what's happening as well, to if they do make decisions that may impact on people, to get the word out to them, all the reasoning behind what they're doing.
On behalf of the board, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the deliberative panel members. You were also giving of your time and you were committed to the process. The board has looked forward to looking at your recommendations at how we might not only include them in the business plan, but also in terms of the programs that the board invests in the future.